So, yesterday there was no Spider-Man 3 teaser or teaser trailer, just like the Warstu channel said there wouldn't be, because it's pretty obvious. So, yo, what is good, YouTube? Warstu here. If you're new around here, make sure to subscribe to never miss any of the videos. At the 100,000 subscribe mark, I will be giving away links so damn cool. So check us out on Instagram at Warstu, Twitter WarstuG, and maybe Twitch, twitch.tv/Warstu. Right, let's get into this video. So, I've pretty much been told there is no teaser, no trailer coming as of the month of December. The statement was backtracked by a Sony executive on The Hollywood Reporter, but I can't find the article, but I've been told that by multiple people. So everyone was expecting the tease trailer yesterday because he said, she said, and Paramount Pictures said, even though they've got really nothing to do with it. So there was no trailer yesterday. So the update is there is no trailer this month. As far as we know, it doesn't make any sense to drop a trailer for Spider-Man 3 before Venom 2 or before the second Morbius trailer, because both Venom and Morbius come out before Spider-Man 3. So also, this he said, she said story about Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield not being locked in. Well, specifically, it says Tobey Maguire isn't locked in, which at this stage, it's pretty weird, seeing as, you know, people scooped it and saying back before, you know what happened back in March, they've been locked in. And then at the other end of the spectrum, there's people like, yeah, but Tobey's been seen outside a costume fitting. Tobey could be doing anything. There's no actual factual, we're talking factual evidence here, not clickbait, not rumors. There's no factual evidence that had anything to do with Marvel, other than the fact that Just Gerard said that he was outside a costume fitting, and he said potentially it was Spider-Man 3. Just Gerard website is reliable, but they didn't actually say it was for Spider-Man 3. So I want to go over some pretty interesting details. So there's a big rumor now that the version of Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield aren't going to be the version from their respective Spider-Man movies. Well, if that's the case, then why is rumoredly their respected villains coming through with them, Dr. Ock, Electro, Jamie Foxx, and all this kind of stuff? So there's a report saying that Tobey's Spider is semi-retired and doesn't really go out and stop crime as much as he used to. Due to being a parent now, he feels he has too much to lose at this point. He's the straight man of the third arc, and his arc will revolve around being Spider-Man again. So you're telling me they're bringing Tobey back. Tobey is the OG Spider-Man, but he's not going to be playing the same version. Andrew's Spider is the complete opposite, and is Spider-Man all the time, except the years have not been kind to him. He's emotionally distant from everybody in his personal life, and he's practically a workaholic, and he still carries the weight of Gwen's death. And due to this, he cracks jokes all the time to hide that he's still not over it. In a way, he serves as the comedic relief of the third act. His arc would revolve around learning to be okay to just be Peter Parker every now and again, which is interesting. So they're not the same version. So let me get this right. They're gonna, like, you know, if this alleged dream is real, they're gonna do this because of multiverse. Tom Spider will take notes from both of these and ultimately decide that he has to find a balance between Peter Parker and Spider-Man, as the merger of the two public knowledge will prove to be dangerous. His arc will evolve around learning to grow up and be his own person, as he is still young and will have to figure out his place in this world as a superhero. So you're telling me Tom Holland's role is literally the same role he's had in every single Spider-Man movie thus far? That is literally the same story that he's had in every other Spider-Man movie thus far. Now, what is interesting is there's multiple plot leaks going around the internet, and you know they're all pretty funny in their own right, because they all make out that, like, their plot leaks right, and you know that they're essentially Reddit posts. But what's interesting is a lot of people are talking about this, like Andrew Garfield and Tobey coming back to not play the same role they played before, but that literally makes no sense. If they're not playing the same role as before, then what exactly is the point of them even returning? That, like, to me, that literally makes absolutely no sense in bringing them back to not even play the same Spider-Man that they're known for. So apparently this movie would take place, we're going to go over a plot leak now. Apparently this movie takes place instantly after Far From Home, and this is just bullet points. So it's insinuating that Matt Murdock will be in the movie. Eventually a lawyer walks into the room and it's revealed to be Cox Matt Murdock. Murdock clears Peter's name by using Edith's logs and showing that the attack in England were of Beck's doing. It's a funny scene showing Peter has no money to pay for Murdock. Matt stops and hands him a card letting him know the shared mutual friend. It's a card telling Peter to meet Strange in the Sectorium. Peter thinks Strange is going to help him. Strange plans it off as professional courtesy. When questioned about his relationship with Murdoch, Strange says after Endgame and Stark's death, he had been keeping tabs on individuals that he finds special, which is why he got involved with Peter's problem. Strange offers a spell to cleanse the world's memory of Peter being Spider-Man. Whilst Peter is immediately open to the idea, Strange warns him that even those closest to him will lose any memory of him in relation to his secret. The only person that will have any idea prior to the memory wipe will be him. This causes Peter to hesitate, even though he still have Ned and May. The remaining Avengers, happy and basic of his relationship with MJ, will be erased and knowledge of him being Spider-Man. Peter rain checks Strange and decides to take the superhero role similar to Stark and tries to embrace his public identity. And this is where it kind of gets a bit conspiracy theory. Spider-Verse, I don't know how, but you know, Tobey Maguire and Peter says the identity is important. His father, and he almost lost MJ, his daughter, due to enemies finding out his identity. Tobey gives him the great speech, you know, already knows, says something along the lines of the uncle used on him. Big bad fight. After this fight, Tom, Peter decide to talk to MJ, and he hopes she talks him out of doing the memory wipe, essentially. She knows and instead understands how important his identity is to be kept secret. So if this is real, it's essentially a pretty basic movie. But like, this plot leak doesn't explain the multiverse stuff. And then it says they embrace each other at the last time. Peter goes to college and is welcomed by Gwen Stacy post-credit. Vulture, having no idea who Pedro is anymore, and is back to being mad about Spider-Man, but since he only remembers Spidey, throw him. So yeah, I mean, this plot leak's clearly fake, but like, if they are going to introduce Toby and Andrew, there will have to be some multiverse storyline based. And the conspiracy theories, guys, get even wilder than this. They really do get even wilder. You got to understand, we're not even finished Spider-Man 3 yet, and there's this website called Geeksoid by Mikey Sutton, and it's talking about darker, more violent villains will mark Spider-Man MCU's after college years. So let me get this straight, honey. We're not even done Spider-Man 3 in the MCU yet, and we're already talking about the next trilogy. Spider-Man's trilogy will focus on Peter Parker's college year. He will be more experienced, more tragedy, and powerful, darker villains, according to insiders. Well, that's pretty obvious. It's got to get darker, and the villains have got to get stronger. Marvel Studios head Kevin Feige is able to accomplish with Spider-Man franchise what has never been done before in theatrical franchise. Well, this is if Sony agrees, because Sony still owns the IP, so a lot of this is actually up to Sony and not really up to Marvel. What's interesting here, it says the following: the Spider-Man movies Marvel Studios have produced aren't about the web thing at all at the heart. Their attitude have enabled them to avoid the excuses of latter Sony Spider-Man movies, which gradually lost their focus and creativity. No scripts have been written for the next trilogy. Well, that's kind of obvious because they've not even finished Spider-Man 3 yet, but I get where they're coming from, you know. Feige is working with Sony, and obviously they work years ahead when it comes to the end game. However, Feige doesn't go on trips years without the roadmap. The following contains major spoilers. So I will leave the link down below, but I just think it's absolutely ridiculous that we're now talking about the next 3 Spider-Mans when obviously there's a new contract in play, and obviously some of this is probably fan casting, fan guessing, because to be fair, you could theorize a lot of this. So it speculates the bad guys Spider-Man will face in college will be on a different power level, maturity of his own, abilities, intelligence, and experience. They apparently include not only Hobgoblin, but Venom, but Man-Wolf, and the Kingpin. Of course, these are, Venom. Tom Hardy's Venom was, okay, let's just skip that. Yeah, so essentially says that Man-Wolf's going to appear, Kingpin will appear, Hobgoblin will appear. So it doesn't actually say that much. And for tragedies, it's interesting. So I'll leave it there, guys, but it's on geeksoidmag.com if you want to check it out. But it is funny to me in a way that we are now talking about the next 3 Spider-Man movies. Pretty obvious that, you know, he's going to continue going to school and continue being Spider-Man. So I don't really know if this is a scoop. To be fair, is it fan casting? I mean, it's a Mikey Sutton scoop, so I don't really have any preference when it comes to insiders and scoopers. They've all been wrong. They've all been right. But to be fair to Mikey Sutton, he did get some things right before. And like all inside scoopers, they're only as good as their source. So sometimes people get things wrong. Sometimes people get things right. So I will leave the link down below so you can read it for yourself. I just find it like hilarious because we're now talking, we've gone past Spider-Man 3 with this article, and we're now talking about Spider-Man 4, 5, and 6. yet we haven't even got past 3 yet. It will be cool, and I do think Kingpin should be coming through, but he's more of a daredevil villain. I don't really see the point of him having a beef with Spider-Man in the movies, at least. So like always, guys, please like, subscribe, and comment. If you could check us out on Twitter, WarstuG. Check us out on Instagram at Warstu, and I've started streaming more on this YouTube channel, so watch out for some streams. And also twitch.tv/Warstu. I've been streaming on Twitch as well. So I will catch you in another video, guys, very soon. Catch ya later.